What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wave Gretzky Show. If you're new here, my name is Alfred Romero, and this week we're going to be talking about the two major problems with the Canon R5 and the issues that I see with the camera before I consider buying it and switching over from Sony to Canon. But right before we jump into it, I have to tell you guys three really small things just to keep you guys up with the channel and really be transparent with you guys. If you don't want to stick around for that, I really understand, so I'll give you the timestamp to go to here if you want to get straight to the R5. However, if you stayed, I really do appreciate it, and I'm going to share with you guys super quickly what those three things are. First is the cross-country video that my girlfriend Avery and I went on earlier, 2 weeks ago approximately. So I have 2 weeks worth of footage that I need to chop up and go through and scrub and color correct and do all that stuff. So it's taking me a lot longer than I definitely expected it to. Hours and hours worth of footage there that I'm trying to dwindle down into an 18 or 22, 24 minute video. So you should be getting that within the next couple weeks here. Secondly, I posted some tie-dye t-shirts on my Instagram stories and people were asking me if I was going to be selling them or not. I'm not exactly too sure yet. I didn't really like how the finish came out. It didn't really give that deep color effect on the t-shirts, so I'm still working on that. And that's kind of where I am with that. I did film the process of the whole tie-dye and I was planning on turning that into a video. However, it's not edited yet because I've been editing the cross-country video. So I have a lot on my plate with that already. And third and final thing that I have to talk to you guys about today is 500 subscribers. Man, that is incredible. Thank you guys for all the new subscribers. Welcome to the Wave Gretzky Show. I really do appreciate it. I really do try my best to put out quality, truthful content around here that's consistent, you know? My objective here is to definitely just give you guys the truth, whether it's about camera gear, because I know that stuff's expensive and every penny counts. Just like how it is for me, I know it is for you. The video that's doing so well and getting me these subscribers, I suspect, is the LED corner light fixture video, do it yourself. That video is close to breaking about 15,000 views, which is incredible. I would have never guessed it when I was making the video. I really do want to say I appreciate you, Josh, for helping me out building those light fixtures. The video I have in second place right now with 1,600 views is how to make a tech pack. But yeah, nonetheless, super grateful. That was my first video to hit 10,000 views, my first video to hit 14,000 and 15,000 views. Thank you guys for all the support, and I will continue to keep putting 110% into the channel. With that being said, let's jump into the two biggest problems I see with the Canon R5 currently right now. What's going on, everybody? Future editor Alfred here. It's been about 2 days since I recorded that video, and there has been a couple updates for a couple of things, so you'll see me popping in when the information is needed. I also just wanted to throw in a little disclaimer with this camera talk. In no way, shape, or form do I think I am a camera expert. I do think that I'm really good at what I do, and I do think that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to cameras, but in no way do I think that I know almighty be all. So bear with me in the comments here. I'm just a average consumer, just like yourself probably, that's trying to get some answers so that way he can buy himself a new camera. Nonetheless, let's jump back to past Alfred. I shoot with a Sony a7 III. I used to shoot Canon and I traded it in for a Sony because I needed the 4K video resolution that Canon really wasn't providing at the time. At the time, I think the best bet was to get a 6D Mark II, which I had, which shot 1080, 60 frames, 120 frames. I'm not too sure, I don't remember, but it wasn't 4K. Now, fast forward a little bit, Sony releases the Sony a7 III and it's 4K. It doesn't do 60 frames a second at 4K, so that is the biggest issue. It doesn't do 120 frames either. Fast forward a little bit more, we have the EOS R, which is doing basically the same exact thing that the Sony a7 III was doing, except with a crop sensor. So I really had no incentive to switch back over to Canon just yet. When you switch from a brand, you really want to stick with them for a long time because you're buying glass, you're spending money with them, so you really don't want to be switching back and forth. It could be a really big waste of money. With all that being said, I really thought that the R5 was going to be the answer to all this. I still kind of do think it is. There's just a couple of things that need to be fixed first. The first and biggest problem with the Canon R5 is probably the overheating. That's the big topic of this camera. It is a DSLR body, so shooting in 8K, of course it's going to get hot really quick. I really do want to say I appreciate Fronos as well as Armando for giving the truth about overheating and like just making a big joke about it. It's really funny and entertaining, but also very honest. Which we do need that because a lot of the YouTubers are sponsored by bigger brands, Sony and Canon. So it's hard to tell who really has the truth about the matter of the fact. So yeah, some new development with the 8K. It really seems like people aren't getting more than 10 minutes out of it, which is such a bummer. A bummer because you could do so much more when shooting in 8K. Like if your cropping was wrong, you could definitely move it around or even zoom in and still have that crispy quality footage. Secondly, it also looks like the 4K 120 frames per second was also overheating as well. I heard that these were all normal temperatures. Anything below that seems fine shooting at 4K 60 and 4K 24 frames a second. So it is what it is. Back to me. It really just depends who this camera is for. Really all I needed from Canon was to release a 4K video that shot at 120 frames a second that was in a full frame sensor. Nonetheless though, I could see why people are getting a little bit angry because you are paying for the 8K and you would want it to work properly. I don't even see it being worth it just because you can only film like 20 minutes of it. Me talking to this camera, it takes like God knows 45 minutes, right? Nonetheless though, other incentives for me to buy this camera are the megapixels. 45 megapixels is a lot and super needed when you're doing nature photography and you're planning on blowing your prints up one day. I've even encountered this already with just doing wedding photos alone. They are printed out at high resolution, however, it could be better and you could tell. The second biggest problem I see with this thing is the IBIS. Now, Peter McKinnon has done a vlog on this and he did notice some distortion in the background when he was vlogging about it. I really do appreciate it because he did call it out. He stopped the video and said it was interesting. I do find it interesting as well. Is that a flaw in the camera? You recommend zooming in on the lens a little bit so that way the distortion doesn't happen, but I didn't know that you should have to do that in order for the IBIS to work correctly. So yeah, new development I found in the past 2 days is that this is a IBIS problem, not necessarily a Canon problem. I'm finding out that a lot of people have this problem with Olympus, Panasonic, Sony as well. After asking around on the internet what lens people should be using while using IBIS, people really don't have a certain answer. It seems like the most common thrown out there answer is 35 millimeters. With that being said though, wide angle lenses tend to give that wobbly effect that you see in the background that we were talking about. Anything between 15 and 35, it might not be usable for that, but it's definitely giving some solid B-roll whenever you need it behind the camera that you could use for your footage. Back to me. I want this camera to be good. Trust me, I want to switch over to Canon. There's so many things that I miss about the Canon, like the color science, like the autofocus, like the screen that swivels out and you can see, like, I can't even see myself right now. I just hope that I'm in frame, right? These are all very small, tedious things that have bundled up over time that I really appreciated the Canon for. In my past videos, you could see where I'm focused on the microphone and I'm not even focused on myself, which it bothers me because that's the hugest video I have. So I just didn't realize how important that autofocus was. Nonetheless though, jumping back into the IBIS problem, I saw a second Peter McKinnon vlog where it was doing a little bit of distortion a couple days later. However, I don't know because I'm not using this camera. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not gonna go run out and buy a $4,000 camera without the lens, right? So I really do trust the opinions of these influencers and vloggers to give their truthful opinion about the camera. I saw a video of Matty Hapoya doing a comparison of what you could buy instead of the Canon R5, which was a Blackmagic and I think a DJI drone. And he's right. He's completely right. That's how you can get that 6K footage. And if you are doing anything above 4K, maybe you should think about that. For the people that are just looking for the simple 4K, there's reasons to stick with the Canon though, like the color science, the autofocus, the pull-out screen, as well as the menu integration, how everything is just easy. I know that was probably the biggest problem I had with the Sony, is just trying to simply find things when you need to find them very quickly or in a rut. This is a huge purchase for people like myself and for people just like you, I'm sure, that are watching this video. So you really want to make sure that all your money is worth it. Those are, in my opinion, the two biggest problems with the Canon R5. Hopefully in the coming days and weeks, there will be more videos from influencers and YouTubers that will give us an insight on this camera. I really do want to make the switch and hopefully I can after there has been some revisions of it. I'm not exactly sure how that will work. I'm not exactly sure how the IBIS works. Maybe it is doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it just doesn't look all that great and I'm not sure I can count on that. But I really just wanted to make sure I was giving you guys all the information that is necessary for this camera talk, I guess. Canon is super close with this camera. They didn't need to flex that hard, even though they could, because now people are taking away from the sole purpose of the camera, which was that it could do 4K, no crop, at 120 frames a second, and they definitely accomplished that. So thank you, Canon, I appreciate it. I'm just super curious how these bugs will get fixed So we'll see. 500 subscribers, thank you guys so much. That is incredible. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Alfred Romero. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if this video brought you any value. And I will hope to see you guys next week. Peace.